Hey Gemini, this is your astrological report for June 2025. And wow, what a month. The month starts out for you with Jupiter leaving your first house and moving into the second house. But before it does that, it meets with your ruling planet at the 29th degree point, which is definitely having you take a big, serious look at everything you've learned while Jupiter was in your first house. And when that Mercury joins that point, there is going to be some very important decision or knowledge or information or opportunity that definitely expands your life because Jupiter's expansion, Mercury rules you, is your Lord. It's the Lord of your chart. So it rules the entire chart. So for you to have your ruling planet meeting with the guru, the light, is all about growth. And that's happening right before Jupiter moves into your second house, where it will expand your finances. But before but before it does that, or shall we say, expand your financial opportunities, or create a lot of financial possessions, and it can increase your spending as well. But I'm going to go ahead and share the chart here and get and show all you Geminis how the month starts out with a whole bunch going on in your first house. We just had a new moon in your first house, and now we've got Mercury, Jupiter, Sun in your first house. Uranus is going to shift into your first house soon in July, which is going to be amazing. That's going to be interesting. I'll talk more about that later. But for Gemini, at the beginning of the month of June, there's this busy energy, a lot of communication. Your ruling planet is right there with the sun in your first house, probably feeling very social, very reading a lot, busy, perhaps interacting in social situations with fast transformation of knowledge and information, and then Jupiter being in your first house, you will have been learning a lot in the last year around higher consciousness topics or other cultural topics, or study, or just learning in general, some form of education that is going to expand your financial situation, because now that Jupiter moves into your second house, you're going to take everything that you've learned and apply it to your financial, shall we say, increase, because Jupiter in the sign of Cancer is exalted. And so your finances are going to increase. Debt and spending can increase too. So you want to watch this energy. Now, the month starts out with all these planets in your first house getting ready to make that Mercury Jupiter conjunction right before it moves into your second house, squaring Saturn, or some big new beginning, new idea, new venture, new business, new media project, new writing, destiny, dharmic, dharma. Jupiter is your dharma, your calling, your purpose, but it is squared by Saturn in Aries, where these big new beginnings are occurring. These 29-year new cycle starts with Saturn in Aries, and with Neptune there. This is some big ideal new beginning, or sort of the ultimate new beginning, the ultimate dream. So Jupiter's going to square that. But these ideas and the desire and the fast movement and the fast-paced energies of all these mercurial energies going on, squaring Saturn, gets halted or blocked or stationed or delayed, or there's an obstruction. So then there's just sort of a recalibrating and slowing down, and Saturn's going to go in retrograde in July. So it's sort of like taking some sort of new initiative, excitement to go forward, and then some sort of wait. But that is only to make sure things are aligned properly, that because mutable energies can make quick decisions that are not long-term sustainable, and that's what Saturn is going to make sure, that all the decisions that are made in these new beginnings are long-term sustainable, because Saturn wants us stable for the next 29 years. So um that's the beginning of the month. Then we're going to have Venus is going to move into Taurus, into your 12th house, where you could absolutely find yourself traveling for romantic liaisons. But also Venus in your 12th house could be solitude, finding really good pleasure in being alone and spending time alone. Venus Taurus is candlelight dinners. It's all about beautiful things, aesthetics, stable, calm, enjoying your solitude, or in nature with your lover, or travel again. Um, Uranus is there still, so Venus is going to meet Uranus in your 12th house further into the month, and that's going to be a sudden surprise, shocking, and it's going to square the nodes actually. Trying the nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, moving, perhaps suddenly moving, traveling, suddenly shifting your living location, a sudden change, and the North Node there in your 10th house, also shifting your work, um, stepping into some sort of fulfilling, soul fulfilling dharmic path connecting to your career. And the eclipses are going to be happening in these houses all year. So these are going to be your major shifts in home and career and work and status. Relationship status can change there. So anyway, with the Venus in your 12th house, I think that's a lovely energy, but you could also be wrapping up karmic patterns. So Venus can also be indulgent. So you might be resolving or ending cycles of indulgent addictions to, pleasurable things that are just indulgent. So that would be a shadow aspect of Venus Taurus. But that's because the 12th house I find is always sort of the end of that pattern and sort of finding a spiritual freedom from it, some sort of, because the 12th house is liberation. And with that Venus Uranus conjoining in your 12th house, sudden liberation in the moksha house, some sort of spiritual, massive, liberating spiritual experience happens on that day. Um, I don't want to jump out to that day. When does Mercury move? Mercury moves into that's good. That's the 8th. Wow, that's actually quite no, that's Mercury. Sorry, I'm looking at Venus. Well, Venus is for the month. Venus is this is going to be at the end of the month. Venus moves into Gemini on July 3rd. So we're looking at the end of the month. So that's a really beautiful thing. All of a sudden, you get up and travel for some sort of romantic or work, business. Venus represents business, work, financial gains, luxury. I really like this month in general. Okay, so then we've talked about the Venus transit, and we've talked about Mercury's going to go with Jupiter squaring Saturn into your second house, some big new idea around financing. Then we've got or money making ventures, plans, and also gaining valuable possessions can happen with Jupiter there. Um, so we've got that full moon coming in Sagittarius. That'll be in your seventh house. So this is a very relationship month for Gemini. So full moon Sagittarius, a relationship can end on a full moon. You suddenly realize this is not the relationship you want to continue your whole life with, or you suddenly find your true relationship and it expands and becomes more to the next level, upgraded. And this is a really positive full moon. This is a Dharma full moon. This is a full moon where, and this happens, the full moon is going to happen on the 11th. And so this is like, I mean, this has got a beautiful fire trine. And this full moon is bringing incredible blessings, liberating, inspired desires. It's like our desires. It's also our dharma, and it's like we're really excited about something here, and it squares the nodes, which means it really alters. It could be disruptive if we're fully off alignment, but it would really bring us in alignment to a very exciting, adventurous, fulfilling new beginning. And with Jupiter ruling this full moon in exaltation, although that it does square Saturn, which means we aren't going to see, we'll see some things developing. We'll see the new potentials or the new invitations or the new horizons showing up and the new opportunities or the adventures are unfolding in front of us on that full moon. But it may not happen until that square, until Jupiter gets out of combustion, because Jupiter's in combustion, which means it's close to the sun. Um, and at this point, it's at 20 degrees. Jupiter is at 10 degrees away from the sun, so it's technically combust. So we don't see these fulfillment right away, but we're aware of it. We see it happening. The plans could be further down the line because of the Saturn. So that is the full moon. We talked about Mercury moving into Cancer, and we talked about the full moon. Now we're going to talk about Mars moving into Virgo, which is going to be hitting the South Node at some point here in July, which is going to be another topic of conversation. But there's the South Node in your ninth house where you're letting go of old beliefs, old perceptions, pickiness, criticism. But now we're going more third house, so we're going more learning, more spiritual knowledge because but or also knowledge of your dharmic purpose, your calling could be selling, media, writing, communication, short distance travel, business, operating a business, but it's in your soul's path, it's dharmic. So that would be with the North Node there, but then we've got this full moon squares that these nodes. So we're letting go of our past, and we're going much more towards our future here with this, towards some sort of goal, some sort of um, uh, third house would be an initiative, some sort of plan, some sort of scheme, a business, a media, selling something. So great. So I'm trying to get back on track here. We did Mars moving into Virgo, your ninth house. Again, travel could really fire up and travel with that full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is Jupiter. It's all about traveling. So that's a very big, powerful thing. Sorry, the houses are different. Wow, wow, I'm wrong on the houses, guys, but I forgot I should have gone to Gemini here and I'm on Capricorn. Um, sorry. Going back. It's in your third house. We just flip it. Okay, it's not a big deal. So fourth house, you're letting go of moving. 10th house, career, kind of same message. Mars is going to move into your fourth house where you take a lot of proactive motivation to move or put a lot of energy into your property, real estate, home, spending time at home, um, projects perhaps because it's in Virgo, so you're being very detailed, precision, and perhaps organizing things and preparing to move, perhaps because the South Node is there, which means you're going to be going through a lot of eclipses there, a couple of eclipses there, which usually means you move. So, Sun's going to move into your second house, which puts a lot of energy again into material. Perhaps you sell a bunch of your stuff because you're moving, or material possessions increase, or you become very clear about what's valuable, what isn't valuable, or you get some sort of idea of a creative way of earning and creating a new income. But a lot of energy goes there with the Sun, Jupiter, Mercury there, where you're really getting a lot of and this is to develop security and stability because Cancer loves home and family, creating a new home and family or security. And then we've got that new moon in Cancer in your second house on the 25th, where these new beginnings, some sort of new financial beginning occurs there. And it is to create long-term security, family nesting energies, home. Um, with Venus in that Taurus energy, again, wants stability. And don't forget Mercury. I didn't even add this part. Mercury is sextiling Venus right now. Mercury, your ruling planet, is making a beautiful sextile to Venus. Um, sorry, Venus is making a sextile. I'm sorry, Venus is making a sextile to Jupiter in your Mercury sign, and Mercury is going to meet this. Shall we say when Venus moves into the sign of Taurus, it's going to form a sextile with Mercury and Jupiter too, which is extremely positive. It's the two benefics coming together, creating a really beautiful romantic flow, relationship, cooperation, uh, re- um, dispute resolution, harmonic solutions, peaceful movement forward in initiating relationships, or beautiful, luxurious trips and travel because you've got that Taurus in your ninth house, 12th house, like a luxurious trip, spa, going to a spa. All right. I hope that was interesting and helpful and informative for you, and have a wonderful month. Namaste.